Welcome to Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion Basketball. Now, live from Rainbow Daiquiris in Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
Southeastern Hoops took on two of the top teams in the Southland Conference this past week and came up just short in both of those games. On Tuesday, after falling behind by 12 to Sam Houston State, the Lions rallied to cut the lead to 3 points with 2 minutes to play in the game, but just couldn't quite close it out as Sam Houston got out of Hammond with a win. Saturday, Nicholls State started out hot and jumped out to a big first-half lead before Southeastern would get it down to 5 in the second half, but Nicholls was able to pull away late to get the win. This young Lion team continues to play hard and will have only one game this week as they'll play at home against Abilene Christian on Saturday. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Basketball with Coach David Kiefer, live from our home, Rainbow Daiquiris, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, wherever you may be, whether listening on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network or watching the stream on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. We're going to be with you till 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, Coach Kiefer he'll break down the couple of games from this past week as the Lions took on Sam Houston State and Nicholls, and then we're going to talk more about Abilene Christian, the Lions' opponent for Saturday. Also, track coach Corey Mastretta is here. We're going to hear from him later on in the show, so make sure you stay for that. Again, we're going to be with you till 8 o'clock here tonight. First, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to be joined by the head basketball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach David Kiefer. Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer is presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The countdown to Katy has begun. The Southland Conference Basketball Tournament at the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Experience it live as Southland strong teams compete for a tournament title and a chance to go to the dance. It's affordable family fun and great college hoops action. Tickets for the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament are on sale through school ticket offices and Ticketmaster.com.
What's up, Lion fans? It's Nate Big Easy Lofton of the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters and also of Southeastern Louisiana University. Can't wait to be back home March 12th in the University Center. Can't wait to see you there. Line up.
All right, welcome back. Getting it cranked up here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented as always by Rainbow Daiquiris, as that's where we're live at our home from Rainbow Daiquiris right here in Hammond on the Southeastern Sports Network. I'm Alan Waddell. This time we're going to welcome to the show the head basketball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach David Kiefer. And Coach, thanks for being with us here tonight. I know a week ago we missed you. I know that you had a recruiting trip planned and you were out on the road, and I guess before we get into those games, I guess tell us a little about that. I know you're doing some in-season recruiting as well, as it never stops. You had an opportunity, and you're continuing every week while you're coaching this team up, trying to get them ready to win the games that you're playing, but you're also looking to the future as well.
Yeah, recruiting is the lifeblood of our program, and you got to constantly do that. You can't neglect that part of the deal. That's really important for us because every year there's seniors. Every year there's 1,000 people transferring a year. You never know what's going to happen at the end of the year when stuff happens, and you know you're losing Vaughn at the end of the season. So we constantly got to make sure that we're improving every day in practice, but make sure we're getting the right pieces for next year as well. Because these seasons are just wrapping up for these JUCOs and high schools. So it's going to be the last time that I'll be able to see some of these guys.
David, that's I guess one of my questions for you, because we've said it a few times this year that Von's the only senior on this team. But so how many scholarships do you have available? I mean, I know you have a lot of guys that are technically
just the one, but
right.
You never know. You have 5 games left, and right now it's kind of we're sitting in last place. Things don't technically look great, and some of the guys, you're going to find out how tough some of the guys are. If they're all the way bought in when things are down and out, then you know who you can really trust and who you can't these last 5 games. So a lot of questions still to be remained for the future of this team.
Well, last week we got an opportunity to spend some time with Coach Mark Lieberman, Coach Patrick Schulte, and I know those two guys are certainly important to you, and I know that you've talked about those guys a few times on our program this year, but we really had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with them last week, and it's obvious why you have the relationship with those guys, and again, we're close. I just feel like, and I keep reiterating that every week, and we're going to talk more about the 2 games you played this week, but talk a little bit more about those 2 guys and what they've meant to your program, and they've been through these battles, and getting it to the next level.
Yeah, it really helps when you got people that have your back and that you can trust, and they're about the right things. I told the guys after we lost, I know one thing, I don't care if we lost 15 games in a row, what place we're sitting on when we come back to work. I know Patrick Schulte, I know Riley Conroy, I know John Jarvis, I know Dean Baumer, and I know Coach Lieberman, Brooks. Everybody on our staff is going to be back in work the next day like it was nothing, rejuvenated and ready to get this program better. Those guys are in there the next day watching film, getting shots up with the guys, recruiting, sending me constant texts about this kid and that kid. It doesn't stop. Nobody's down and out or feeling sorry for themselves. It's the next play. What are we going to do next to get this program better?
David, I know that, going into the season, there's certainly, if you just look at it on paper, you looked at it and said, hey, there could be some challenges this year. You're just going to have to play so many new guys that have never had to step into these type of roles. You're playing in a very competitive league against good coaches, against good players. I know that the frustration level is high for you. I know it's high for your coaching staff and for some of these players as well. But, with these 5 games left, where you're at right now, I know some of these scores haven't gone the way you wanted them. I still think the team is certainly playing hard. That's obvious when you watch the games on television or whether you're in person right there at the University Center. But where are you at right now as far as with this team with these 5 games left? Again, I know a lot of frustrations, but trying to battle through those and have some positivity going into the offseason if we can get these last 5.
Yeah, for sure. It's a 5-game season. This is hopefully a springboard into next season. 5-game season. Why can't we win 5 games in a row? There hasn't been a team on our schedule that we just went in there and they just completely dominated us and we shouldn't be on the court. There's been moments of every single game where we've shown that we can compete with anybody. And as long as we just continue to believe and continue to fight, we're going to be right there. And like I said, we got 5 games left. We're at a crossroads. I told them I need 5 guys. And I think the guys are still bought in. They want to believe. They want to win. So we have practice tomorrow and have the best possible practice we can have and prepare for Abilene on Saturday.
Yeah, and you do kind of get a little bit of a break as we're going to talk about that. You kind of almost have like a mini bye right here in the middle of the year. So you get 5 games left, but you don't play on Wednesday night. So I'm sure there's going to be some intense practices this week and try to get ready for the Wildcats on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. We needed this break. We haven't had our last break was December 21st was our last bye. So we played December 18th, and as you remember, we lose to Lamar in overtime, and then after the first game, they gave us a bye, and now we're 2 months later, we're getting our next bye. So we could have used this bye a while back. We weren't too friendly with us on the bye, but no excuses. We're going to take this week off, take 2 days of just rest and relaxation. We've asked a lot of these guys, a lot of these freshmen have just kind of hit a wall. They've never been played this many minutes or this many games in their entire life at this high of competitiveness and as hard as they can. And so the next couple of days, get those guys some rest, relaxation, especially for their mind. Then we'll get back at it hard on Tuesday, watch film, and get better. It's going to be a lot of, I think, individuals early on working on offensive skill development. We've been really struggling to put the ball in the basket, so going back to some basic fundamentals and just get back to making some shots and working on offense, get down to the details.
And you talk a lot about those young guys, and again, trying to adjust to Division I basketball. They also have to be a student as well. They're in college. I mean, so you still have that workload. I don't think people realize how much those young men have been traveling, over the last few weeks, and certainly you got to take care of it in the classroom where there is no basketball.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a rule. Those guys, those assistants all know anytime those guys miss an assignment, I say if we're not going to be in first place, we're going to have first place GPA. So if those guys miss an assignment or they miss a class, they got 5:30 in the morning running. I want to make sure that there should be no excuses of why we're getting a free scholarship to go to class. There should be no reason why we miss assignments. I can understand if a guy doesn't do great on a test. I wasn't the best student, but you're going to do the homework assignments. You're going to show up to class and put forth the best effort that you possibly can. And those guys so far this semester have done a good job. I only had a couple 5:30s.
Lions are currently 4 games out of the 8th spot of the Southland Conference tournament with only 5 to play, so would have to win out and need a little luck to get in there, but hey, you never know. It's a 5-game season for the rest of the year. Again, for Southeastern, Ty Brewer continues to lead Southeastern in scoring with 15 points per game, also averages nearly 8 rebounds per game, and senior Von Julian, he continues to lead the Southland Conference in assists with 128 over 5 per game, and you said it just a minute ago, you've had some trouble putting some points on the board. That number could be higher, if we knock some shots down. So, again, Vaughn playing in his senior year, and I know these last 5 games are important for you and important for him to send him out the right way.
Yeah, no question. We were in the locker room just – it's about finishing plays off. We have some great possessions, sometimes defensively, textbook possessions where guys give such great effort, but we don't finish the play off with a big rebound. Or we execute offense great, and we get a wide open shot, or we don't knock it down. I told the guys the other day, Marlon, Veal, and Moses starting walking through the door to pick it up and win us the ball game. One of you guys is going to have to, grow some and make them play yourself.
Just getting it started here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with Coach David Kiefer. We're going to talk more about the Lions games this past week as they took on Sam Houston State at home and also Nichols on the road this past Saturday. Also, stay with us. Coming up later on the show, Corey Mastretta is here. We're going to hear from him. He's going to break down the track and field department right here at Southeastern. We're going to hear from him here later on in the program. So we got a lot to do right here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made, once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
Just getting it cranked up. We're going to be with you until 8 o'clock here tonight. This is Inside Southeastern Basketball with Coach David Kiefer. I'm Alan Waddell. We are presented, as always, by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Network. Lions have one game this week, no game Wednesday night, as their bye falls this week, so they will not play on Wednesday. They will play Saturday against Abilene Christian. So certainly a full weekend of athletics here on campus. Make sure you're always following lionsports.net. I see Colton Vickers over there, who's in charge of all the streaming and everything. He's shaking his head. He said, yeah, we got a lot of games this weekend. So a lot going on campus here on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Southeastern. We're talking with Coach David Kiefer. Lions played a couple of games this past week. We'll start on Wednesday. They played at home against Sam Houston State. And, you've matched up pretty well now with Sam Houston. I know we've come up short in both of these games, but, you had the lead against those guys over in Huntsville a couple of weeks back. And this team, I think they're currently sitting third or fourth in the league right now. So one of the best teams the league has to offer. They won the conference championship a year ago. But talk a little bit about Wednesday's game.
Yeah, I thought, they actually jumped at us early. It was kind of a flip-flop from the last time we played them, and we battled back. And, I was really kind of proud of how our guys came back and battled down. We were down by, how much were we down by in that game? I want to say 13, 14, 15.
We were down 12 in the first half, 29-17, and then you get it all the way to 6 right before half.
I thought we did a really good job early on. Zach Nutto came out and really hurt us in the first half and got on the guys, and we held them, I think, to 1 point and 2 rebounds in the second half. And I thought our pressure was good in the second half. We did a good job. The coach staff did a good job of helping prepare the guys. We put in a little bit of a zone defense that kind of threw them off balance a little bit and got some key turnovers late. I thought our freshmen in the second half, Byron Smith and Isaiah Kirby, had some huge defensive plays for us to kind of spark that run. We were down, I want to say 2 or 3 with 2 or 3 minutes to go, and just they gave up a kind of story of the season, just giving up a big run late. But I just proud our guys battled there to the end.
Yeah, team certainly battled. If you look at this game, it was they won the beginning of halves, and then we kind of got back in it there late in the halves because they jumped out by 12. Again, in the first half, 29-17. You made it 39-33 at half, so it's only a 6-point game at halftime. We were getting to the rim in the first half because we shot 17 free throws. We were 12 of 17. So, again, tacking the rim was certainly a recipe for success to get you back in the ball game. You come back out in the second half. They jump out 61-47. They're actually up 11 with 5:19 to go, and you go on a 9-1 run. And they're just, if you were in the building, it just felt like a lot of the momentum that we might be able to steal this one from those guys after they had a big lead on us all night.
I mean, it's our defense. You said a few key things there. First, with the free throws, when we're attacking the rim and shooting free throws, that's when our best. We're not a great perimeter shooting team. We're good when we're getting the ball inside. We're attacking. We're going to the offensive glass, being aggressive, getting the ball in the paint, and we were doing that, and we were having success. And then all of a sudden our defense starts picking up. When we see the ball go in the basket, you don't want it to be like this, but young teams, they're offensive sensitive. We've been talking about that all the year, trying not to be offensive sensitive. But when the ball goes in, guys seem to want to play defense harder, and it shouldn't be like that. But the ball started going in for us, and we're starting to get steals, and our defense starts amping up. And I thought our pressure at the end of the game was really good for us, and our defense has got to kind of be our best offense for right now. And it was, and it kind of sparked us going there a little bit at the end, but gave up a couple big offensive rebounds and had a couple key turnovers at the end. Just inexperience, man. Just got to make the right plays.
Well, Coach, we had an opportunity last week talking with Coach Lieberman, and he talked a lot about when he was filling in for you here on the program about making winning plays at the end of games. And we're not quite there yet. We're we're close. And, you had an opportunity in this one. You're down 3. We get a steal, and Ty, who's been leading us in scoring all year, he has an opportunity to tie the game, and shot looks good out of his hand, just goes off the back rim, and you might look up. If that shot goes down, you're 73-73 with about a minute left.
Right, and at the same time, it's just you got to get those guys to understand, Ty has the open 3, but at the same time, you watch the film, it's like, man, just drive and get the 2 points. It's a 3-point game. You make it great, but now you miss it, long rebound, It turns into a bucket for them. Let's get the easy 2. Understanding time and score, we don't have to get the 3. It's not at the buzzer. We can get this thing, cut it down to 1, make them, we just turned them over 3 or 4 times. We get multiple stop after multiple stop. Let's get a basket. Let's chip away. The clock stops under 1 minute. Let's make them work and get another turnover. Maybe we settle for that shot and it turns into a long rebound basket for them. And then the next time we come down, we turn it over and they get another layup, and boom, it's
I know I've heard you say that a few times this year, understanding time and score. And I mean, how much time do you guys spend on that? I mean, it just seems like situational. If you watch, when this big tournament starts here in March, and then everybody's going to be watching college basketball from the time they wake up till they go to bed at night, you see so many games that come down to the last 2 minutes, and it's about all who handles the situation correctly. And I know time and score is certainly a big thing, a way to handle it for winning basketball.
Something that needs to be done every day. Probably haven't done it enough. You can never say you do it enough. Obviously, haven't done it enough. Our team hasn't figured it out yet. So it needs to be done more. It needs to be done something that's done every day. And our guys have to understand. Like I just said a minute ago, Marlon and Moses aren't coming in here to win us the ball game anymore. Somebody else has to step up and make the winning plays. Don't be afraid to go win the game. And if it doesn't work out of it, you can't be afraid to fail either. You can't be afraid to lose. If you try your hardest and you lose, so what? That's the best time to learn from your mistakes is by trying your hard and learn from your failures. So these guys just, got to keep battling.
A couple of notes from this game as well. Coach mentioned it earlier. Sam Houston was led by their sophomore, Zach Nuttall, 20 points, 11 rebounds. He certainly played well in the first half of this game, especially got them out to that lead. Lions were led offensively by Ty Brewer. He had 14 points and 7 rebounds. Byron Smith added 12 in this game. Another nice performance by the freshman. We've talked about him a lot this year. Certainly we're excited what he's going to bring to the table over the next few years for Southeastern. Sam Houston finished the game shooting 54% from the field. They were 8 of 16 from 3. Lions only 42% and only 26% from 3, but still had an opportunity in the final 2 minutes. So that just shows you, didn't shoot the basketball that well, still had an opportunity to win that game. Lions fall 79-70 as just kind of went cold there at the end of the game as Sam Houston made a few more plays down the stretch. We'll flip it over to Saturday. Lions went on the road and took on Nicholls State. And I don't want to say kind of the same story, but very similar. They jump out to a big lead there in the first half. They really punch us in the mouth to start the game, but your team doesn't quit. You get right back in this game against Nicholls. Talk about Saturday, Coach.
Yeah, Nicholls has just got some
they're a good team.
They got some tough guys. They got some tough older guys, and it bothers us, They really do a good job of pressuring the basketball and just getting really physical with our guys, and we have not been ready for it. We've tried to prepare our guys and show them, but it's hard to simulate what they do when you don't have those type of guys and you don't have that type of experience and strength. They come out and did a really good job. Before the game, it's funny. Their coach for them said to me that our team really reminds him of their team last year. Just trying to figure it out young. We were much younger than they were last year, but just pushing your identity and having the team really try to buy into it and and he can see it. And every coach has said it. They can see us getting better, and that style of play has kind of hurt us right now. They really do a good job of getting the passing lanes and disrupt our offense, and just got to get better at it.
Pop Job, maybe his best game as a Lion. He played well, and you mentioned they're a big physical team. They got the big 6'10" guy in there. They start at center, and he was really banging in there with them. 23 points. He got to the foul line a lot, and probably the best free throw performance he's had all year. He was 13 of 60 in the line. He hasn't had trouble getting to the line, but sometimes he's had trouble making them. Right. But he was good in this game, 13 of 16. Also had 8 rebounds. I know that he was out a couple of weeks ago with a concussion, but since he's been back, he's a guy that. Again, this is a team that doesn't have a ton of physicality under the goal, but Pop was able to do that on Saturday.
Yeah, Pop. When Pop's running to the rim and posting up, Pop's effective for us. And when he's driving the basketball to the rim and not settling for jumpers, sometimes Pop and Ty get caught up in wanting to shoot jumpers. And you understand sometimes, those guys are 198, 200 pounds, and they got to go down there and wrestle with guys 250 pounds. Sometimes it's a lot easier to step out behind the perimeter and shoot shots, but our advantage is our quickness and athleticism. That's fine that you have the ball on the perimeter a little bit, but let's drive to the rim. Let's use your quickness to get around those guys and go up strong to the basket, not shoot fallaways and fadeaways. And Pop's really bought into doing that. And when you shoot 16 free throws, that means you're not shooting any fadeaways. You're getting to the rim. And that's what we've been teaching him to do, and he's a huge reason why we came back in that game.
Nick Caldwell as well. He was outstanding as well. He scored 16 points, and there was a sequence right out of halftime where you came back and really made this thing a tight game. Again, they were up 22-5 to start this thing, and you get it down to 5 points with about 3 minutes left. About 13 minutes left in the game. Nick Caldwell had 16 points, 6 of 10 shooting. He hit a big three, got us in the game. And another situation where we got it close. We were causing some stops. We were getting turnovers. Just couldn't seem to get that big basket to get us even or to within 2 points to really put a lot of pressure on them.
Just missing that one guy that'll go do it for you. You know, the one guy that just go put the team on his back and just say, I'll get it, and I'll go do it. And somebody's got to step up and do that. And Nick kind of hit a wall there for about 10 games. It seemed like a freshman wall, and he's starting to come out of his slump. It's a couple games in a row where he's had, or past 2 out of 3 where he's had double figures. And Nick's going to be a really good player for us because he can do so many different things. He's versatile. He can make shots. He can pass. And the best thing about Nick is he's tough. Yep. He's a really tough kid. He doesn't play like he's 200 pounds. He's athletic, and every game you see he's got a couple big blocks for us. He had a really huge game, and he had
a nice block in this game as well.
Yeah, huge block in this game, and he's going to be a really good player for us down there in the stretch.
Coach, if I'd have told you before this game, again, we talked about their size, their athleticism down there. Nichols, this is a team that's been red hot. I mean, Nichols is second in the league. Yep. I mean, they're playing at a high level, certainly have an opportunity to win the conference. Yeah. You out-rebounded those guys, 36-34, so you got after it, just couldn't make enough shots in this one. I think that's really what it comes down to.
We got to make shots at the end of the day. It's frustrating because you want to say it's not going to happen all the time. You defense and rebounding travels, and you go out there and you beat them on the glass, but then you give up 50% and you turn the ball over 20
Yeah, they shot
times.
50%, 30 of 60.
And then you turn the ball over too much, and that's just extra opportunities where you're shooting yourself in the foot. But I thought we did a good job of, like you said, hitting. We've been emphasizing rebounding the ball in car crashes or boxing out and being more physical. And we're getting the ball inside. We're posting up. We're rebounding. Just got to finish the game off. Got to have some guys that go make some plays at the end of the game when it counts.
Well, those two are over. We'll certainly turn the page on those as Lions had a couple of tough ones against some really good teams, though. Dropped a couple of games this week to Sam Houston State and also Nichols. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Corey Mastretta. He's here to talk about his track program. We're going to hear from him for just a few moments. And then when Coach Kiefer comes back up here on the podium, we'll talk about Abilene Christian. We'll get some final thoughts. Again, we're about halfway home. Make sure you stay with us. We still have a lot to do right here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
The countdown to Katy has begun. The Southland Conference Basketball Tournament at the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Experience it live as Southland strong teams compete for a tournament title and a chance to go to the dance. It's affordable family fun and great college hoops action. Tickets for the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament are on sale through school ticket offices and Ticketmaster.com.
What's up, Lion fans? It's Nate Big Easy Lofton of the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters and also of Southeastern Louisiana University. Can't wait to be back home March 12th in the University Center. Can't wait to see you there. Line up.
All right, welcome back. About halfway home here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with Coach David Kiefer. Again, we're presented by Rainbow Daiquiris. They're our title sponsor and also our host right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. And now joining us on the program, we're going to flip gears as Coach Kiefer is given the platform to another one of the head coaches here on campus, and he's done this the last few weeks. And we're going to talk with Coach Corey Mastretta as Southeastern is in the middle of their indoor track and field season. And for those that know, first of all, Coach, thanks for coming by and spending some time with us. We appreciate you tonight.
Anytime.
Coach, again, for those that don't know, but the track and field season it's really just it's a long season, but it's kind of separated into two. Right now you're doing indoor, and then you'll go to outdoor in a month or so. But talk about kind of the dynamics of the track and field seasons at the collegiate level.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It is a very long season. We compete. Well, first of all, we start training the day school starts.
Right.
Is our first training session, and we train through the entire fall semester. Generally, most schools will have a little inter-squad kind of meet at the end of the fall, and then we go over the winter. So the kids are ready to go. They're ready to compete, and then we send them home for 5 or 6 weeks. So we give them something to do, and hopefully they're gonna do everything and be responsible. And then we bring some of them home early before school starts. Like this year, we had a meet before school was even in session. So the season will start in early January, and it goes all the way until the middle of June. With nationals, so it's it kind of expands kind of the winter seasons and the spring seasons. And so in the beginning we start with indoor, and we'll contest anywhere from 4 to 6 meets, and the conference championship is here in 2 weeks for us, and then 2 weeks after that we have our first outdoor meet.
So they're grinding.
They're grinding all year long, yes.
Coach Mastretta certainly had a lot of success this past weekend at the Sanford Open over in Birmingham, Alabama. Just reading and trying to get some notes ready for tonight. I believe 16 personal bests. So talk about your group's performance this past weekend.
Well, they've been working really hard. Kind of the team is separated. It's a team sport, but it's a whole bunch of individuals.
Correct. Yeah.
So we kind of broke off. We have a distance group with a coach, and then we have a group of throwers with a coach, and then we have a group of sprinters with a coach, and some jumpers with a coach, and so everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and then we go to meets, and we try to come together as a group and compete. And all 4 of those groups have been training really hard and working well. So it's exciting to go to a meet like we did this weekend, 2 weeks prior to the conference championship, and hoping that everything's going to work right. And we put training theories into place, and we start training those guys up, and then we go and find out, hey, is it working or not? And we did really well. 16 personal bests on the week, which was really good. Sophie Daigle broke 2 school records, and she's just been phenomenal this year. A couple of weeks ago, we took our distance runners to Boston, and she went up there and broke 2 other school records. So she's on a tear and continually trying to get better so she can have a really good conference meet.
When you think of track and field, especially in the South, I mean, you think of sprinters, and certainly I know that we have a group here on campus that's they're not only being recognized in our conference, but nationally ranked 9th in the country right now, our 4x400 relay team. I know that's certainly probably when you're out recruiting, we have a lot more really fast guys down here than maybe anything else, but this group has been special so far.
That's definitely the case with us. In the South, when we're recruiting, it's easy to talk to kids about coming to the South and running. I mean, the joke is if you want to run fast, you have to run fast. And so we can train outdoors 12 months out of the year. So we can run fast all the time, and it really plays well. And when Sean Brady was here, he did a really good job with our long sprint group, and that's kind of my focus as well. So those guys are doing really well. And just like with any sport, the better you get in a certain area, the more people in that area that want to come to your school. So we've been having guys showing up, and Grambling, we got a transfer, Jonathan Sawyer, who's very, very good for us, and he's a senior transfer from Grambling. They got into a little trouble with the NCAA and on a postseason ban, so he tried to get out of there and just started looking for a place that fit, and saw that we're doing well, so came here, and he's kind of helped put us over the top. Him along with James Benson, and James Benson is he's a sophomore for us, and he's a guy that showed up at my office last year and just wanted to walk on. hadn't.
Good decision.
Yeah, he hadn't run track since middle school, so he didn't run it all in high school. And I'm like, oh man, here we go. And so we gave the guy a chance just to come and take a look, and it didn't take very long to see that he had something special. And so we put him in that long sprint group and started training, and boy, it has just blown up for him. And he goes out this weekend and runs the #1 time in the conference. It goes from, in less than 2 years.
That's a great story.
Yeah, he's a walk-on, and now he's run the fastest time in the conference. So going into the conference championship, he's leading, and he's part of that relay as well.
We got to talk about DJ Ruffin. He's the reigning Southland Conference Male Indoor Athlete of the Year. Certainly, he won the long jump and the high jump, and he's on that 4x400 relay team, and he came in second a year ago. So this is a young man who does several events and has been very successful.
He's different. One of the things we like to say, especially about my program, is sometimes God's involved. And with this young man, he is just really, really, really special. Coach Kiefer was talking about guys that step up, and when you need guys to step up to go win games for you, DJ's that guy for us. At the conference championship last year, he just said, Coach, I'll do it. Put me in that. And I'm like, DJ, you've never done that before. He had never run an open 400 before ever in his life. He was a senior. And so now he's a fifth-year senior for us this year. But last year he was a senior in his third competitive season and came to me right before the conference championship and said, hey, Coach, put me in the 400. I think I can do well. I said, you've never run one. It's going to take X to, just to make the final. He said, I could do it. And he winds up coming second, at the conference championship. So he's just really, really special. He's a jumper by nature. We found him in Mississippi. And that area of Mississippi is known for jumpers. Hines Community College has, national champions every year in the high jump. And so he came to us and is doing a really good job. We're kind of fingers crossed right now because he's nursing an ankle injury, and we've been having a little trouble getting him to compete at 100%. So
we're talking with Coach Corey Mastretta, track and field coach here at Southeastern. They're in the middle of their indoor season. They'll be starting outdoor in a few weeks as the conference championships will be coming up. And, Coach, before I let you go, I got to get you to comment. I know just for those that don't realize this, but it wasn't that many years ago we didn't have a track facility. I mean, you guys were training, on the old track at Strawberry Stadium, having to go places. Talk about that facility and how much that has just really changed the game for track and field here at Southeastern.
Yeah, even for me, special. I ran track at Southeastern back in the 80s, and when I was here, it was inside of Strawberry Stadium on cinders.
Right.
And so my dad ran on that track on cinders. So, and then in 1992, when they had the Olympic trials in New Orleans, they put a new surface on City Park there in Tad Gormley. And so when they did that, they came over to Southeastern and put an artificial surface or a rubber surface on top of the cinders. And so that was nice, and it was nice to have it inside of the facility, but it was still, the curves are tight, and it was only a 5-lane track, and so we'd been wanting, our own facility for a long time, and Sean did a really, really good job, Coach Brady with kind of pushing for that, and we're able to get our own facility a few years back, and so that helps on the recruiting trail a lot. When kids come in for visits on campus, that's a nice facility over there. We're able to host meets and do things like that. So we're super excited about it.
If you look close at Strawberry Stadium, you can still see in those end zones. Oh, yeah. They still have those tight corner because they took them away the track from down the sidelines, but in the end zones they're still back there, so you can still see a little bit of the past.
Yep, it sure is. They still have the pole vault box there too, right? When you come in that back gate, it's still there.
We're talking with Coach Corey Mastretta, track and field coach here at Southeastern. Coach, thanks for all you do. And I guess before I let you get out of here, anything you want to touch on as you have the platform right now with Lion Nation?
No, not really. Just appreciate the support. Of course, starting with Jay Ortiz, he does a great job. I know Coach Kiefer will say the same thing. Giving guys like us an opportunity to come in and take over a program and try to build it and make it our own, and we really, really appreciate that. And then it just kind of filters out from there across the athletic community on campus. Everybody is incredibly supportive, and then into the community as well. So we really appreciate that and look forward to putting a good product out there for people to be proud of.
Just to kind of give you some dates, Southeastern has one more, I guess you could call it tune-up meet before the indoor championships. They're going to run at the LSU Twilights on February 21st. And then the Southland Indoor Championship is going to be Sunday and Monday, March 1st and 2nd in Birmingham at the Birmingham crossplex. So, and then how long after that until you start outdoor?
2 weeks. We'll come back. The national championships is 2 weeks after that, and hopefully, if things work out, we'll have possibly DJ Ruffin there in the long jump. We'll possibly have the 4x4 there. We'll possibly have Ashley Davis in the women's shot.
We've been represented there quite a bit over the last 10 years.
We just had a really good weekend at the USA Championships. Devin King, who's from Kentwood, he was 11th this year in the pole vault at the USA Championships, and then Alex Young, who's a national champion for us in the weight throw, the indoor weight throw. He was 4th at the USA Championships this weekend.
You were 2nd a year ago in the indoor championships.
We were runner-up last year indoors.
What do you think? I mean, you got a chance to bring it home?
Yeah, we sure do. The guys are coming together. We've put the team together. We have a lot of ammunition. So one of the things in our sports is we like to say is you got to go do it on the day. So hopefully we'll have them ready.
Well, there you have it. That's Coach Corey Mastretta, Southeastern Track and Field. You can make sure you follow those guys over there at lionsports.net, or you can also follow them on Twitter at LionUpTrack. Let's take a break. When we come back, Coach Kiefer will be back on the platform here, and we'll get back to basketball right here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Network.
What do you love most about being a student athlete at Southeastern?
So I chose teammates for life because on our golf team, nobody's from the same spot, but the friendships we've made, once we graduate, I know we'll always be friends, we'll always see each other, we'll always come back and visit.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are Southeastern!
All right, welcome back. This is Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. As David Kiefer is going to join us back, we were talking off the air about the NBA All-Star game last night. I'll tell you, if you didn't catch that fourth quarter, it was awesome. So, talking about some good basketball, watching that last night. But we want to thank Coach Corey Mastretta, Coach, for coming by and spending some time with us, catching us up on track and field. And, man, listen to some of those times. You might need some of those guys running up and down the floor.
No question. Those guys haul butt.
No doubt about it. Again, right now, Southeastern track and field, the 9th ranked 4x400 team in America.
Wow.
So that's pretty impressive right here in Hammond, Louisiana. There's no doubt about that. Coach, let's get back to your team and what you got this week. As again, if you're just joining us on our show, we touched on this for a moment earlier, but the way the schedule fell this year, You played your first conference game way back in 2019, and then you had a bye there, but you haven't had a bye. It's been 2 games a week with a lot of travel for the last several weeks, so you will not play Wednesday night. Again, give us the schedule for this week and what the game plan is. I mean, is it what kind of practices and like kind of, I guess, self-scouting against yourself during the week until you play Abilene on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a lot of looking at ourselves, watching film on ourselves, guys getting in for individual instruction, team. Then we'll watch team film, get in there, do a lot of individual workouts and practices, just fine-tuning, get some ball handling, some shots, and back to fundamentals, and just back to breaking down our offense, do some 5-0 stuff. But most importantly, after a day or two of that, we're going to get into some real grinded practices and get back to our fine-tuning our defense, get back to our pressure, working on some of the new things that we've been doing, and just keep trying to get better. You just got to get better. There's no magic formula. There's nothing different except just get back to work. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us because we're in last place. Everybody wants to win. Everybody, every single team, every week scouting and trying to win the next game. They could care less if we're what we got going on. And once we start feeling bad for ourselves, we're just going to keep losing. So all I know how to do is just get our guys ready, practice as hard as we can the next couple of days, and get ready to go fight Abilene.
Coach, I guess there's, if you stick around sports long enough, you watch teams. I guess one of the concerns when you're having a season where the last few weeks hasn't really gone your way is you wonder, hey, is this team going to shut it down? Are they going to continue to play hard? Is it going to get individuals? Is it going to get away from the team? Do you feel like any of that's taking place? You feel like this team's hanging in there?
No, they won't play. If anybody shuts it down, they won't play. And if you watch our games, you'll see if somebody's not playing.
And I'm not saying they are. It's just a concern.
My thing, if they shut it down, they won't play. We want guys that are going to fight. When I told the guys this the other day, tough times don't last, tough people do.
That's right.
And we just got to be tougher. That's all it is. You got to be tougher. We got to practice harder. We got to win. We can sit here and sulk and cry. If you want to do that, go play for somebody else. But I don't think we have quitters. I think we have guys that want to win. We just have young guys that have never been through this, and this is going to be something that's going to be even better. Our wonderful SID sent me a real nice text the other day talking about Northwestern State head coach. His first year, Mike McConaughey, brought in 9 freshmen his first year, went 2-30. And then 3 years later, they were playing for a conference championship. And things don't just happen like that. It's hard work every single day, but it's going to be that much sweeter here in a couple of years or next year. At some point, there's going to be a championship won here by Southeastern in this staff, and it's going to be that much sweeter when it happens. But first things first, we got to have a really good practice tomorrow, and we got to not feel sorry for ourselves.
Coach, how's our bodies? Are they? I mean, I know it's been a grind. I know a college basketball season can certainly take a lot out of a young man. But how much training room are these guys in? Are they? I know it's a lot of, like a young freshman. And you mentioned this earlier. A lot of these guys, they haven't played this many games, especially over this amount of time.
Yeah, they got to be better. They got to be better. Their off days, the guys. Every single day we try to make it mandatory to get those guys over to seek the trainers, and a lot of that stuff's preventative, just going over there even when you don't need it, getting a massage, getting the icy hot, getting the ice in the stem, and whatever you need to try to prevent injuries. And these guys, again, this is all new for those guys. But yeah, the body's taking my body's taking a wear and tear, taking those 10 and 11-hour bus rides. I couldn't imagine playing 35 minutes and doing it. So I know those guys.
You look like you're playing 35 minutes down there sometimes.
I feel like it.
I mean, I see you running up and down, getting in the garden stance and all that.
Yeah. No, the guy's body's a thing. I think everybody's, we're as healthy as anybody else is. Everybody's going through their bumps and bruises and everything right now. But this week off was perfect time, just for our mental health. Just getting a day or two. Yesterday was a good time. I just was able to spend with my family. I haven't had a day where I didn't do anything basketball and just was with my family the entire day, and it just brought my spirits back up, and just remember that everything is not given, everything's earned, and just had to just get away from it for a day. It was really good for myself, and got back to basketball going again today, and everybody get back at it tomorrow.
Let's talk about Abilene. This is your opponent for Saturday. It's a 4 o'clock tip right here at the University Center. And probably, this has been a very competitive team. Every game you seem like you've been in every game. When you played Abilene the first time, really weren't in that game. That was really the one time this year that, especially in the league, where a team really got after you. And talk about this team and what they bring to the table on Saturday in the University Center.
Yeah, watching them and not taking anything away from anybody. This is just my opinion. Watching them play, they're the best team in our conference. I've watched them play against Lamar earlier before I came here, and they beat Lamar by like 40-something. And they got another big win last week, and they just play basketball the right way. They play every single possession so hard. They are so well coached offensively. Every single guy knows their role. Every single guy wants to star in their role. They know their job. We use them as an example all the time of how we want it to be. We have a little bit of different style, but a lot of it's really the same. And coach there does such an unbelievable job, and it's been 5 years of building to that point. It wasn't right away. We used to smack up on Abilene. Yeah. We used to talk about they were just a hard-playing team that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, Lions lead the all-time series 9-4.
Yeah, it was just when we came in the league, Coach Ladner and I would used to say, they play hard. They're just not that talented yet, but they do a good job. They're tough. They're a scrappy bunch. And I feel like that's kind of what people say. And now they've gotten their guys in there. They've got their culture set. They've got their system in place. And, man, they're really, really impressive to watch on film.
So, again, the Lions are going to take on Abilene Christian at 4 o'clock on Saturday. That game will be televised on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. You can also listen on KSLU 90.9 FM as well. The Wildcats are led by Peyton Ricks. He averages 14 points per game. He's also tied for the conference lead in steals as well with 59. So they get it done, and he's really their leader offensively. But, listen, I value your opinion certainly as much as anybody when you watch these teams. They have been beaten 4 times. So what have teams done to get after these guys? Because they're currently sitting, I think they're in third. Yeah, they're 10-4 right now. They're a half game out behind Nichols, so right behind second place. But they've had a really good year. But what have teams done to knock these guys off a few times?
You got to match their aggressiveness and their toughness. Because I know when we beat them, we played them 3 times last year, and they beat us 2 out of 3 times last year. And you go back to that semifinal game, and we just beat them 2 weeks before that by like 15 at their place. And when we came out for that semifinal game, I remember our guys being kind of excited. It was weird, being almost excited when UNO beat Sam Houston. It was like, okay, now all we got to do is beat Abilene, who we just beat by 15 2 weeks ago, to go to the championship. And we get to play UNO, who we just beat by 20. We're going to win the league. And before we even started that game against Abilene Christian, you could see our guys already have moved past Abilene. And that jump ball was thrown up, and I've never seen a team guard so hard from the jump like they did to us and just took the ball from us about 4 or 5 possessions in a row. And they were so amped up and juiced and locked into our play calls and our game plan, and they were just the most well-prepared, tough-minded team that I'd seen from the first half of the game. Now, we came back and battled and almost made it a game at the end of it.
Yeah, I think we took the lead.
But they were so well-prepared, and when we went to their place this year, it felt like the same thing. They were sitting on every single one of our plays. Those guys were so amped up and juiced. It was they just took it to us. And I think a lot of the teams that are able to withstand those barrage of punches or the big haymakers early and go right back at them and kind of just even it off, because you take away that big run, they were up like 20 like that in the game. The rest of the game, I think, was even. I think we maybe even tied or beat them. I think we beat them by 1 in the second half. But it was that initial just, oh, my God. And once we got past that, we were okay. But you got to go out there and you got to be ready to play, because them guys are ready to play.
Lions are going to take on Abilene Christian. Again, Abilene, Coach just alluded to it. They were in the NCAA tournament a year ago. This is a team that, knocked us off in the semifinals and then went on to beat UNO in the championship game and actually played in the NCAA tournament. Let's take our final break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Network.
The countdown to Katy has begun. The Southland Conference Basketball Tournament at the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Experience it live as Southland strong teams compete for a tournament title and a chance to go to the dance. It's affordable family fun and great college hoops action. Tickets for the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament are on sale through school ticket offices and Ticketmaster.com.
What's up, Lion fans? It's Nate Big Easy Lofton of the world famous Harlem Globetrotters and also of Southeastern Louisiana University. Can't wait to be back home March 12th in the University Center. Can't wait to see you there. Line up.
All right, welcome back. Just a few minutes left to go here in our program. This is Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Network. We certainly want to thank Coach Corey Mastretta for coming by and spending some time with us as well. We gave him some time earlier to talk about Lion Track and Field. They're will be competing in the Southland Conference Championships in a couple of weeks over there in Birmingham, Alabama. And, Coach, I got to tell you, I know that these are tough. When you're sitting up here talking about games that aren't going your way and really a season that hasn't gone your way, especially over the last few weeks. And I appreciate you doing this and kind of filling us in on what's going on in the program because, I was telling you before the show, we're going to look back at this and say, hey, remember how miserable that was talking about those games, a year ago. But, this is just part of the growing and getting better as a program. And, again, I appreciate your candidness and being here every week and breaking down what's going on inside your program.
Yeah, no, again, when it gets hard, can't run from it. So, you got to stand here face to face and deal with it. This is part of the job, and we all knew that it'd be hard. We didn't want to be sitting where we're sitting, but I still think there's a lot of positive things. Looking from the outside, looking at the record, you may not think that, but when you're there every day and see it, you see a lot of really good things that are happening within the program, and seeing some guys mature and grow, and even watching your staff mature and grow, and everybody just get better, and seeing who you can believe in and who you can count on, it helps a lot when you got a great support system, got a great family at home, that wife that helps me, loving kids. They could care less if I win or lose. They're going to be right there by my side, and the staff that, we're in last place right now that still believes in me as a coach, that still believes in being here.
I think
a
lot of people believe in you, Coach. I wouldn't feel that way. And just look, hey, a year ago SFA didn't make the conference tournament.
Right.
What I'm saying? I mean, just it could flip like this. And again, this season isn't over. And I don't want to sit here and act like this season's over. We got 5 games left. Anything could happen. You could possibly. Get in this thing. Who knows? But you probably have to win all 5. But that starts Saturday against Abilene Christian. It's a 4:00 tip right here at Hammond. Southeastern coming off of a couple tough ones last week where they played Sam Houston State and Nichols, 2 of the top teams in the league. Had an opportunity to win those games. It got close there at the end. Just couldn't make it quite enough plays. And I just feel like we're close to something clicking and making one of those plays to win one of these games against one of the top teams in our league.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. All these people that believe, nobody's ever stopped believing, and we have these great moments in games. We just gotta keep finding a way, just keep plugging away, and at some point the light's gonna click on.
So again, Lions this week it's a short week. Only not a short week, but only one game. Not going to play a game on Wednesday night as the Lions bye week comes. We have 5 big games left on the season, and it all starts on Saturday against Abilene Christian. Well, Coach, we just have about a minute or so left to go here on our show before we say goodbye. Give us your final thoughts of the night as we wrap up those couple of games last week and get ready for your bye, and then Abilene Christian on Saturday.
I want to first thank Coach Mastretta for stopping by, appreciate that, and selling the track and field. We got an unbelievable group there, and it seems like the national champions every year. He does an unbelievable job, and I appreciate that. And secondly, we got a big game versus Abilene Saturday. If you're around in the area, please come by. You know, I feel like these guys are getting better every single day. Abilene's an NCAA tournament team from last year. Got last year's conference champs coming in the building, and got a chance to knock them off. And I think our guys are going to compete at the highest of levels, and you'll be proud of the team that's going to compete on Saturday.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I want to thank all of our sponsors that make this show possible. Also want to thank all of the affiliates in the area for getting us up on the air each and every Monday night. We do this every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock, and we'll do it continue throughout the basketball season. This time of the year, we're actually doing 2 shows on Monday. Did Coach Reiser's show this morning from 12 to 1, and then here this afternoon. So a full day of Lion Athletics. I want to thank all the staff that certainly pulled that off. Well, that's going to do it for us. For Coach David Kiefer, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next time right here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer, presented by Rainbow Daiquiris on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer is a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, contact Lion Sport Properties at area code 985-549-2570. Inside Southeastern Basketball with David Kiefer is a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, contact Lion Sport Properties at area code 985-549-2570. Inside Southeastern Basketball